Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. We're going on a little trip. Imagine you just walked into a room in the Dutch Republic, maybe around 1668, and the first thing that hits you is the noise. It is just deafeningly loud. There's a bagpipe screeching, people are shouting over the music, a dog is probably barking somewhere.
It sounds like a party you walked into by mistake.
Or maybe one you've been looking for all night. Then the smell hits you. Pipe smoke. Heavy and sweet, mixed with spilled wine and roasted meat.
You're really painting a picture.
And visually, it's just chaos. But it's this warm, inviting chaos. You see a family, 3 generations of them, all crammed around a table. The colors are incredibly rich, deep violets, warm oranges, shimmering pinks. It feels cozy. It feels like a celebration.
Right.
But here's the thing. While it looks like a scene of, domestic bliss, we are actually looking at a crime scene.
A moral crime scene, anyway.
Exactly. Today, we are unpacking one of the absolute heavyweights of the Dutch Golden Age. We're looking at Jan Steen's masterpiece, As the Old Sing, So Pipe the Young.
Which is hanging in the Mauritshuis in The Hague right now, and I think it's terrifying parents just as effectively today as it did 350 years ago.
Terrifying is the right word, isn't it? Despite how cheerful it all looks.
It's a trap. Steen draws you in with these warm colors and the laughing faces, and then, once you're comfortable, he hits you with the lecture. It's a masterclass in satire.
So the mission for this deep dive is to figure out how Steen pulls off this magic trick. We're going to sort of read this painting like a book.
Yeah, decode it.
Decode the symbols, the history, and this very specific anxiety that was plaguing Dutch society in the 17th century. Because this isn't just a picture of a messy party, it's a manifesto on nature versus nurture.
That's the core of it, really. And to understand that, we have to start with that incredible title, As the Old Sing, So Pipe the Young.
In Dutch, that's, what was it? Su vorg zongen, su nagepiepen.
Exactly.
It sounds distinctly like a proverb. I know the Dutch in the 1600s loved their proverbs almost as much as they loved their tulips.
They absolutely did. And this one comes from a man named Jacob Cats, who was basically the Dr. Phil, or, the moral grandfather of the Netherlands at the time. His poetry books were in almost every household, right next to the Bible.
Wow.
And the proverb is pretty literal on the surface.
Huh.
Just as the old birds sing, the young birds pipe or chirp the same tune.
So monkey see, monkey do.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But we have to place this in the context of the Dutch Golden Age. This was a society that had suddenly become incredibly wealthy. You had merchants and brewers making fortunes that their parents could only dream of.
And with that new money came a massive societal anxiety.
Yes. Are we ruining our children?
A tale as old as time, right? The fear that the next generation will be soft or spoiled because they didn't have to struggle.
Exactly. And the Dutch had a very specific pseudoscientific view on this. They saw inheritance as a two-sided coin.
Okay.
On one side, you had blood, nature. You inherit your father's nose, your mother's eyes. But the other side was behavior or nurture. They believed a child's character was like soft wax.
Oh, I see where this is going.
If a parent acted like a fool, they were literally stamping foolishness into the soul of their child.
That puts an immense amount of pressure on parents. It's not just don't do bad things. It's if you do bad things, you are biologically programming your child to be a disaster.
Precisely. And Jan Steen was obsessed with this idea. He painted this specific theme, the bad family, something like 13 times.
Yeah.
But this version we're looking at is the definitive one. It's the sharpest, most complex take.
Okay, so let's get into the visual evidence. We're looking at a large canvas. It's pretty commanding, and it's dominated by these 3 generations. Let's start with the old who are doing the singing. The grandmother.
Right, in the foreground. She's sitting there looking a bit flushed, and she's holding a sheet of music wide open. Now, art historians are pretty sure this is modeled after Steen's own mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she isn't just reading the music, she is belting it out. She represents the decree, the example being set.
And then next to her, we have the parents. And this is where it gets really interesting. The father, the guy on the right in the black hat who looks like he's having the time of his life.
That's Jan Steen.
That's him. A self-portrait.
Yes.
He didn't paint himself as, the wise man in the corner shaking his head. He painted himself as the ringleader of the circus.
And look what he's doing. He's laughing maniacally, and he's holding a pipe out to his son. He is literally teaching his young child to smoke tobacco.
It's such a shocking image even today. You see a toddler basically reaching for a pipe, and his father isn't stopping him, he's encouraging him.
And this is where the visual pun comes in. The proverb says, as the old sing, so pipe the young. In Dutch, piping can mean singing like a bird.
But it also means smoking a pipe.
Exactly. So Steen is being very clever. The father smokes a pipe, so the son learns to smoke a pipe. The metaphor becomes completely literal.
And the mother isn't exactly helping. She's the woman in the lavender skirt and that green coat, which, by the way, is beautifully painted.
Oh, he was a master of texture. And that's his wife, Margaret van Goyen. Notice her posture. She's relaxed, leaning back. Her glass is empty.
But she has it outstretched, and a servant is pouring her a refill.
Yes. So grandma's loud, dad is getting the kid hooked on nicotine, and mom is getting drunk.
It's a trifecta of vice.
Good.
And because they're doing it, the children are following suit. You see the younger son with the pipe, but the older son, the boy on the bench, he's playing the bagpipes.
Which, to a 17th century viewer, was a huge red flag.
Right. Let's pause on the bagpipes, because today I see bagpipes and I think, oh, some folk music, maybe a Scottish parade or something.
Not in the Dutch Republic. This is a crucial cultural code. In the 1600s, sophisticated people played the lute or the harpsichord, instruments that required study, precision. They represented harmony.
And the bagpipe.
The bagpipe was a peasant instrument. It was loud, it was droning, and it was associated with bawdy village festivals, drinking, debauchery.
And wasn't there a physical connotation, too? The shape of it.
Oh, absolutely. It was undeniably phallic. In Dutch slang and folklore, the bagpipe was often a euphemism for male genitalia or sexual appetite.
So having the son play it isn't just about him being loud.
No. Steen is signaling that the boy is becoming low. He's adopting the morals of a drunk peasant. He's heading down a path of lust and, lack of control.
That's devastating. The parents clearly have money. You can tell by the clothes, the silver platter, the expensive carpet on the table, but their son is behaving like a peasant because of their example.
Exactly. Money can't buy class, and it certainly doesn't buy good parenting. That's the warning.
This whole idea of mimicry seems to be everywhere in the painting. I'm looking at the top left corner, and there's a parrot.
Yes, the parrot. Now, usually in Dutch art, a parrot means exotic trade, wealth. It's a status symbol.
Look at us. We can afford a bird from the tropics.
Right. But here, Steen is using the parrot for its biological trait. What does a parrot do?
It repeats whatever it hears, without understanding it.
It's a mindless mimic.
Yeah.
The parrot is the mascot of this family. It doesn't have a moral compass. It just reflects the noise around it, just like the children.
Wow. That is such a sharp detail. And right near the parrot, there's another bird cage, a smaller one.
Yes, with two birds inside. This is a classic Dutch visual rhyme. Two birds in a small cage was often a metaphor for two parents in a small abode or the domestic partnership. It emphasizes that the rot starts at the head, in the marriage itself.
And speaking of the marriage, there's a detail I noticed that connects Steen and his wife, the figures in the painting. They're both wearing pink ribbons. She has one in her hair. He has one on his hat.
Good eye. That's more than fashion. It's a visual link. It implies they are cut from the same spool. It unifies them in their guilt. You can't just blame the father or just the mother. They are tied together in this conspiracy of bad parenting.
I love how these paintings are like onions. You peel back party, you get bad parenting, you peel that back, and you get sexual vice. Because there's food on the table, too. Specifically, oysters.
Ah, the oyster. The most charged food in art history.
It's never just a snack, is it?
Never. In the 17th century, the oyster was the ultimate symbol of Aphrodite love, sexual availability, fertility.
Yeah.
It was considered an aphrodisiac.
But didn't you say that symbol was a bit retro by the 1660s?
I did. You have a sharp memory. It had faded a bit, yes. Steen bringing it back here is significant. He's reviving this old symbol of gluttony and lust to show that the parents' appetites aren't just for wine and tobacco.
They're consumed by their own desires.
And when you're focused on your own pleasure, the pipe, the cup, the oyster, you aren't looking at your kids. It's the definition of negligence.
They're present physically, but absent morally. And I guess the pipe wordplay comes back again. You've got the smoking pipe, the bagpipe.
In an Old Dutch, a specific type of tall wine glass or vessel was also sometimes called a pipe. So you have this triple pun running through the whole image. Smoking, music, drinking, all covered by the title.
That is just incredibly dense storytelling. It's like a meme, basically. A very high-effort, oil-painted meme.
It is. And that brings us to the man himself, Jan Steen. We need to talk about why he painted himself as the villain. I mean, that's a bold move.
It feels risky, especially since Steen had a bit of a reputation in real life, didn't he?
He did. He came from a Catholic family in Leiden. His father was a brewer. which explains the comfort with alcohol, but the business struggled. Steen himself was constantly in financial trouble. He ran a tavern for a while, moved cities to dodge creditors. He lived a chaotic life.
Isn't there a Dutch saying about that?
Yes, to this day. A Jan Steen household.
No way. People still say that.
They do. If you walk into a house that's messy, loud, and disorganized, you say, it's a Jan Steen household in here.
Yeah.
He became the icon of domestic chaos.
So by painting himself as the laughing, irresponsible father, he's leaning into the brand.
He's winking at the audience. He knows you know who he is, but there's a deeper layer to that laughing face. In 17th century philosophy, the wise man was serious, stoic, laughter. Laughter was the mark of the fool, the drunkard.
So it's self-deprecation. He's casting himself as the fool.
He is. But this raises a fascinating question about his patrons. Who is buying this painting? We know his work was collected by respectable people, doctors, lawyers, pharmacists.
That seems counterintuitive. Why would a respectable doctor want a painting of a drunk, smoking family hanging in his hallway?
2 reasons. First, the technique. He was an incredible painter. The way he captures light, the sheen of the silk, the smoke hanging in the air.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to look at.
It's visually pleasing, even if the subject is ugly.
Right. But secondly, and more importantly, it served a didactic purpose. It was a conversation piece. The doctor could invite his friends over, point to the painting, and say, look at this disaster. This is what happens if you lose control. Thank goodness we aren't like that.
Ah, so it's schadenfreude. It's a way to signal your own virtue by contrasting it with the vice on the wall. I keep this to remind myself what not to be.
Exactly. It allowed them to enjoy the transgressive thrill of the party because, let's be honest, the party looks fun while maintaining their moral superiority.
It's the same reason we watch reality TV shows about hoarding. We get to gawk at the mess and feel better about our own laundry pile.
That is the perfect modern parallel. We haven't changed much in 350 years.
But I keep coming back to Steen's face in the painting. He looks so happy. Knowing about his life, though, the debts, the struggles, is there a tragedy hidden in there?
That's the interpretation that has gained traction in recent years. You can view this as a funny satire to sell to rich people, but you can also view it as a confession. Steen had children. He knew he wasn't the perfect provider. He knew the brewery was failing. When he paints himself teaching his son to smoke, is he laughing because it's a joke? Or is he laughing because it's the truth?
That adds such a heavy, melancholic undertone to the whole thing. It stops being just a cartoon and becomes a very personal admission of guilt.
It does. And I think that's why Steen is a master. If this were just a finger-wagging sermon, we would have forgotten it. But because he puts himself in the center of it, because he makes the vice look so warm and human, it sticks with you.
It really does. It makes you look at your own habits. We worry about screen time today, parents on their phones while the kids watch. But Steen was worrying about pipe time. The technology changes, but the dynamic is identical.
The mirror is still reflective. The painting asks the viewer, what are you modeling? What song are you singing? Because whatever it is, your children are going to pipe it right back at you.
That is a sobering thought to end on. We started with a party, and we ended with an existential crisis about parenting.
That is the Jan Steen experience.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We've talked about the noise, the smoke, the warning, but look at the painting one last time in your mind. The door is open, the light is flooding in, the viewer is standing right at the threshold. Steen isn't just showing us a family, he's inviting us in.
Well,
He's offering us a chair. And the question isn't just, are they bad parents? The question is, are you going to sit down and join them? Because the party looks pretty good and the moral high ground is lonely.
a dangerous invitation.
Indeed. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Until next time.